You will sleep through 14 years of flight to your new home on Caesura. We encourage you to nurture your dreams. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. When you wake up, your new life begins.
So I just put out my Games of 2026 video, and even when I was writing the list, it was obvious there was quite a lot, maybe too many for one video. And there are also some games that are been in early access and are only now going to be coming out this year. So we've actually got two absolutely fantastic games that have been in early access for about 3-4 years, and we're lucky enough now this year to be having them release in 1.0. So yeah, we're in for an absolutely fantastic year, guys. So speaking of early access, there is one game that is due to start that process this year. This is a game that is close to my heart. It's a game that I played back in the day really early in alpha, and I watched the game evolve through all the process, and it's a poster child for what early access can do when the community come in and say, yeah, we're going to help you with this, and the developers and the players work together to make a game reach the finish line. I'm talking about Subnautica. Now, we did get a game after Subnautica, Below Zero, and I think most Subnautica fans consider that to be a backward step. Now, it's hard to put a finger on exactly why, but this isn't that video, so I'll just leave that there. But I did actually quite enjoy Below Zero, and I liked the very small evolution of the graphics in the environments. So it's very natural to want a sequel to your favourite games. And in 2024 we got our first official trailer and details of Subnautica 2. Now, to say the development process for Subnautica 2 has been a little bit mired in controversy is an understatement. Very long story short, there is a $250 million bonus that is up in the air, and the developers had to hit a certain milestone, and they claim that Krafton, the publisher, kind of sabotaged that process to stop them having to pay out that money. So obviously there's a lawsuit ongoing now. Krafton claimed that the original developers, who have all been fired from the project now, claimed that they were kind of like AFK, they were doing their own thing, and they were mismanaging the project and leading it into ruin. So I guess everyone now is kind of just holding their breath, excuse the pun, until this game actually releases into early access and we can get our hands on it and see exactly what we've got. But the trailers do look really promising, and I love the new features, the new devices, the new creatures, and so I've got a lot of hope that we will eventually see a full game released. But for now, we just have to wait.
Tired of cutting cheese? Get the sword.
So for a person who claims they are a graphics person second and a gameplay person first, my story with Valheim is a bit embarrassing, really. I picked it up, I downloaded it, I I started a game, I took one look at the graphics, and to my shame, to my absolute shame, I uninstalled it straight away. I was like, this isn't for me, this looks shit, I don't like the movements, the characters look rubbish, nah. And then, thank the Lord, for some reason, I think it was a friend said, should we play Valheim together in co-op? I was like, yeah, go on then, I'll install it, and we tried it again. And my re-education, shall we say, started. And I started to actually think, oh, this actually is nice. I like the lighting, I like the weather effects. I started to see how dynamic the game was, and to put sticks down in this world and start to build your own legacy. I think one of my favourite things about Valheim is it just feels very elemental. It feels like you are part of this living world, and you got the wind, you got the rain, you got the ocean lapping against the shore. In storms, you can see your boat being tossed around like a toy. It can also feel like a very violent and cruel world. Like the first time you encounter fairly big mobs like trolls, they can feel almost impossible to down. And then when you do as a group or on your own, it feels like this big triumph. So the game splits into different biomes, and each biome has a boss which is linked to progression. When you kill the boss, you get a new item or a new ability, and that lets you then go forward and enter the next era. I think the game is also about discovery and working things out yourself. How to place beams in the house so they don't collapse, how to build a dock, how to farm, how to do all these things like make weapons. And as you get further into the game, you'll realise this game is absolutely packed with things to discover and things to find. So I won't say any more for now. I'll do a full review when the game comes out in 1.0, and I've got no doubt me and my friends will be playing on a server. But yeah, until then, I'm really looking forward to this one.
I have seen prophecy, and it falls to you. This is the age of decay. This is the moment of awakening. This is the time for heroes to crack the earth, call fire from the sky, and claim the jewel of Ember Vale forever.
Sometimes you come across a game and just immediately you can tell the developers have got a real talent. This game is Enshrouded, and it's built on voxels. So the entire world is made of these tiny little three-dimensional pixels, and that gives the game a unique feel and look. This is then coupled with some very clever programming. So for example, if you throw a bomb at a roof, you can see the circular shape of the explosion where the tiles have been blown away, and then they've got just enough rigidity in the beams and the reinforcements of the roof to make it look like the roof has actually been damaged properly. In a similar way, you can also find your way around different problems, like if you come to a cliff face and you can't get up it and there's no obvious way to climb it, you can just pull out your pickaxe, chip away and make your own staircase. So the basic idea for the game is you've got various biomes like deserts and forests, you've got like a water biome as well now, and then you've also got these shrouded areas where you can only spend so long. Now one of the game's loops is you have to find ways to spend longer in these areas, and so you can get further into, say, structures or find treasures or maybe even fight a boss. Now the game is absolutely packed with things to do. There's these NPCs you have to find, and they unlock certain aspects of your crafting. And there's also things like towers that have these like flames at the top. So you climb the tower, you go through the puzzles, and then that becomes like a beacon you can teleport to at any time. So like Valheim, you can play the game single player, but this game is also very, very good if you play with other people. And I think on launch we're definitely going to hire a server and play all together. So this is obviously just highlighting games, and so I won't say much more about Enshrouded now, but I will say that the game is currently $19.99 on Steam with 20% off, and for the amount of game you get for that price, it's an absolute steal. And also it feels really good to support developers like this who are just making genuinely amazing games. So I wish the developers all the best of luck. What can we say about Half-Life 3 that hasn't already been said? It's almost a myth now. You know, it's a thing that people shout in comment sections when they're talking about games that never come out, or somebody makes some obscure reference and somebody will shout Half-Life 3 confirmed. I remember playing the first Half-Life game and being genuinely amazed. I'd never thought that a single player game could feel so immersive, and the developers really took you to another place in that game. And then we had Half-Life 2. I remember this was when they first launched Steam, and it was this awkward thing where they were saying to everyone, you need to download Steam in order to get this game. At the time I was living in Reading and I didn't have any internet, so I had to pick up my PC, put it in the car and drag it to my friend's house who had internet to download this fucking thing called Steam, and then activate the game, take it back to my flat and then play it offline. And that's what I did. Half-Life 2 was another monumental leap forward in single-player FPS games. They took the idea of playing in a game world to a new level, I thought. You just felt so immersed, you felt so intimidated and just in awe of what you were seeing around you. Once Half-Life 2 wrapped, we then got access to Episode 1 and Episode 2. Now, you may not have ever played these, so I won't spoil things, but I will say that at the end of Episode 2, we came to one of the most amazing cliffhangers in gaming history, and it's even more infamous now because after that, we never got a resolution. We never got an answer to what happens after that. And for a long time now, I've just been assuming that we never would. But then, after Half-Life Alyx came out, more speculation arrived and more people were saying they have to do something now. They have to make Half-Life 3. And it is looking like now we may actually get it. It may actually happen. There's so many things now that have happened in the last couple of weeks that have confirmed this is definitely going to happen in some form or another.
You're not supposed to be here. At last, a true battle.
So for those of you who know me really well or have watched some of my other videos, you may know that my favourite game of all time is XCOM. Now, I played the original XCOM Enemy Unknown, and I played Terror from the Deep for probably collectively months back in the day on my first PC, my 386 and my 486. And so, yeah, this is my favourite IP of all time. But I also recognise that the new games from Firaxis, especially XCOM 2, take the idea of XCOM and give it like a modern day sheen. Yeah, so this one is a game, I don't even know if they're actually working on it. The guy who headed the development of the first two games at Firaxis, he's now left the company, and so I don't even know if they're even working on this. But yeah, this is my hope for 2026, that we get some type of confirmation that this game actually exists and it's actually being worked on. I would be very happy with that. If I know it's coming, I can wait for years, but at the moment we don't even know if this game's ever going to even exist. So yeah. And there we go, those are my games for 2026. If you didn't watch my previous video, I did a coverage of more conventional game releases, and like I said, this one is more for the early access games coming out this year. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, but most of all, yeah, please leave a comment. Let me know what games you're looking forward to this year. Alright guys, take care.